Hey, yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. And in this video, I want to show you exactly how I use cost caps to hit consistent $1,000 days on a completely brand new dropshipping business. It's only been around for maybe 6 to 7 weeks now since I started making content on this particular store. And as you guys know, the reason why I make content and reveal this store is so that way you guys can see real time that the strategies that I teach on this channel aren't things that worked for me in 2022, 23, or even 2024. They're things that I'm actively applying to real businesses right now, which should give you the confidence to test these things out. So I want to teach you guys exactly what my cost cap setup is. There's a lot of different setups, and I want to show you exactly what's working for me. That way you can test this out and implement it into your business to start seeing some better results. So as you can see, this is Purify. We're up to $1,200 today on the store. It's about 10:15 in the morning as I'm recording this, and I'll take you guys inside of the ad account as well and kind of show you what I'm running. So I actually made the decision to go all in on cost caps. Previously, I was running a cost cap plus highest volume setup, and we were able to get some really good days of performance, such as on Wednesday when we scaled all the way up to a 2.68 return on ad spend on $1,000 in revenue. And I believe that was, if I can double check, yes, if we go to Wednesday, we hit a really profitable day, $3,000 in total sales, and we spent about $1,000. So as you can see, 2.68 return on ad spend is definitely undershooting it. One thing to note with Shopify and Facebook ads, or Facebook ads and Shopify, is that for some reason, Facebook ads doesn't track any upsell revenue. I'm not sure of a way to actually do that. So unfortunately, the performance in my ad account is always going to look worse than what it actually is. But to be honest, I don't care at the end of the day. So we were able to scale up really, really good, all the way up to $3,000. At a 3+ return on ad spend, I mean, we're making almost 40% profit here, which is awesome, guys. I mean, 40% profit margins. A lot of people talk about how thin the margins are in dropshipping. Most of the time, those are people that don't understand what they're doing, and they're probably running just highest volume campaigns on shitty shrine theme stores. And so if you do things correctly, you can actually hit consistent 2.5 to 3.5x return on ad spends with very minimal managing of the ad account. Now, I want to explain to you guys, before I get into the actual setup that you guys can try, I want to explain to you why I made the decision to go all in on cost caps and cut off my highest volume campaign. So one of the biggest differences between cost caps and highest volume is that on a cost cap campaign, performance is guaranteed, and on a highest volume campaign, spend is guaranteed. So what do I mean by that? So if we just look at the Facebook definition of the bidding strategies and their guide, Meta's own documentation for how to select the correct bidding strategy, what you'll see is that maximizing, or what we'll call highest volume or lowest cost, basically the default bidding strategy, the only goal, or the performance goal for Facebook, is to spend your full daily budget regardless of performance. And they even tell you this is best for advertisers who may not have a clear goal or KPI in mind. If your main outcome for your business that defines success is spending your full daily budget and just getting as many results as possible, irrespective of the cost, then that is who should use highest volume. Now, the problem with that is if you look at the average dropshipper, or the average person getting into dropshipping, you're going to find a couple of key identifying traits. Number one, typically they're limited on capital, or they don't have a sufficient enough flow of incoming capital through the form of other investments, through other businesses, or a really, really high paying job to be able to sustain losses or spending a full daily budget and not seeing adequate returns. And so if you combine that with the fact that the highest volume bidding strategy does not optimize for performance, it optimizes for spend. So in other words, what's guaranteed is spend and not performance. You end up in a situation that is actually can be very detrimental to beginners and newcomers into dropshipping, especially if you don't hit a winner right out of the gate. And I've seen so many beginners who try dropshipping out. They start on highest volume and they test themselves out of the game, right? They have $1,000 in capital, and there's only so many creatives you can test without seeing a positive return on ad spend before you eventually run out of capital and you go start an AI automation business, or you go start an SMMA, or you go start a school community, whatever the case may be. And so if we look at the performance goal for cost caps, or cost per result goal bidding, this is best for, as you can see, advertisers who want to keep CPA at or below a certain amount, regardless of market conditions. So in other words, what Facebook is telling you here is that the guarantee when you run a cost per result goal campaign is performance, But what's not guaranteed is spend. And they even tell you to watch out for this, that spend may be slower than when using lowest cost. And if you do not have strict CPA goals, then you should try spending your budget on lowest cost. But if you do have strict CPA goals, then you need to, or you should use cost caps. And so if you look inside of our ad account, we had a cost cap campaign, we had a highest volume campaign, exact same creatives. Now, running these two campaigns side by side proved to be very detrimental. And the reason why I made this switch was simply due to the fact that if I'm running a cost cap campaign that is trying to get me an average CPA of a certain amount, in this case, $30, and I'm running a highest volume campaign, well, my highest volume campaign is going to win all of the auctions, right? These two campaigns are effectively going after the same people. They have the same creatives, they have the same offer. So it stands to say that they have the same audience. They're probably going after the exact same people. I obviously can't guarantee that, or I don't have any tangible, measurable information to support that. But if two campaigns have the same shit, advertising the same shit, they're probably going after the same people because they're advertising the same shit. So if we look at, though, the highest volume campaign, the highest volume campaign is allowed to bid whatever it wants because it's just focused on spending the full budget. So if there's a conversion out there that, if we, these two campaigns are going into the auction together, my cost cap's trying to stay at 30, but my highest volume campaign can bid up to 35 or 40, then the highest volume campaign is always going to win the auctions until the highest volume campaign runs out of budget. And this is the way that I understand running these two campaigns side by side, is that highest volume campaigns are always going to get first priority because they're allowed to bid whatever they need to hit a conversion, because their primary goal is maximizing budget and getting the most results. While the cost cap campaigns, because they're limited by a performance goal or a CPA target, they're not going to be able to bid as high as a highest volume campaign. And so you end up in the situation where your cost cap campaign is going to end up getting just a bunch of leftovers or leftover auctions. So I have heard this theory from some other reputable names in the media buying space, and I ran these two campaigns side by side and ultimately made the decision to go all in on cost caps. And as you can see for today, now obviously the performance on the highest volume campaign was still quite good. We had 3 conversions on the highest volume campaign, but I turned it off completely. That way I can prioritize giving my cost cap campaign as many quality auctions as possible without having to compete for spend and auctions against similar campaigns. I mean, they're running the same creatives. The only difference is the bidding strategy. And so in my mind, the only way to do this as a true test and give cost caps a true chance to succeed is to get rid of everything else and go all in on cost caps, which is what I'm going to be doing for this week. So in terms of the actual setup, if we look into the cost cap campaign, I keep it very simple, guys. I set up my cost cap campaign so that way the only thing that I have to do, and I don't know why this says campaign off. There we go. So that way the only thing that I have to do is focus on uploading quality content every single week. So my main goal is to get anywhere from 25 to 30 ads up into my account. I was doing it on a cadence of every day, but I'm going to reduce that back down because I just found that actually when I stopped uploading creatives into the account and just kind of let those creatives get a little bit more spend, a little bit more performance behind them, I actually saw better performance on a cost cap campaign. So probably going to launch anywhere from 1 to 2 times per week. But when I do launch, it's going to be at a very high volume. And the way that this is set up is 7-day click, 1-day view. As you can see, I put a date for every single test that I'm doing. If I have a creative idea, I'm going to upload it into my campaign. I'm going to create the variations and I'm going to run the ads as their own ad set standalone. And this setup, what I love about this setup is that it's so completely automated that all I have to focus on and worry about is just uploading content and uploading higher quality creative tests. And the only time that I'm using highest volume right now is to test out different landing pages because I do want to guarantee spend on those. But for me, I'm just seeing a lot more consistency in performance, and I'm seeing even better, more profitability running this huge cost cap campaign setup. Now, do I think this is the most optimal setup for growth? Maybe it could be. Obviously, I'm probably not going to see as much spend as I would on a highest volume campaign. But to me, that's okay because ultimately what I care about is preserving the bottom line and making as much profit as possible, even if that means I might not grow, to the moon and scale to the moon, right? I'm focused on creating a business that's going to make me profit and as much profit as possible, as opposed to just trying to hit the highest and juiciest Shopify screenshot so I can flex on all the 16-year-olds on Twitter. So the setup is very simple though, guys. Every day I launch a new creative test. I am trying to upload as many ads per ad set as I can. So if I go into Well, that's a very bad example, but if I go into like an ad set like this, as you can see, I dump 25 ads in here. I'm trying to add more ads per ad set just so that way I can reduce the total number of ad sets. I think Meta is moving more towards just consolidated setups. Overall, in terms of the setup, like the settings themselves, the only thing that I'm starting to do differently is I have added a minimum spend on all of my ad sets. So I have a $10 daily minimum. And so Facebook is going to try, assuming that it can hit the cost cap target, to spend a minimum of $10 across all my ad sets. This is something that I would recommend you do whether or not you run highest volume or cost caps. And that is because what I found is more and more, every time I run minimum spends, there will be creatives that previously did not get spend, that after applying the minimum spend, it's almost as if after that first $10, Facebook is like, oh shit, this is actually a good creative. I don't know why I was spending into all the other ones. And then it starts to pick up in performance. And overall, I'm just seeing better returns, better performance by running the minimum spends. So if you are running your campaign and you can't get any of your new creatives to get spend, try throwing them on minimum spends and set it at $10, see how it performs. And I guarantee you'll see better performance. So this is the setup though, guys. I mean, the only issue with this setup is that right now I'm having to run ads from multiple different pages. So I've got 3 to 4 pages that I'm running ads from because you'll hit the ad limit, as you can see, 241 ads. You will hit the ad limit very, very quickly if you're uploading 20 ads every single day. You're going to need some new pages. You can see here, I actually had to turn off some ad sets because I was hitting the ad limit so frequently. And you don't want to do that because that will ruin your performance. So if you need to, turn off any ad sets that are getting low spend and not really performing, so that way you can funnel spend and make room for more tests. But that's the setup, guys. CBO cost caps, set it on a really, really high budget, set your cost cap against the profit target that you want to achieve. And then from there, focus on launching as many new creatives as you can every single day. Every new creative concept or angle should be grouped into its own ad set, and you should upload as many ads. Aim for anywhere from 20 to 25 per ad set so you can reduce the total number of ad sets and have more ads per ad set. And then from there, focus on launching quality content every single day. When you are running cost caps, last thing I'll say is do not touch the campaign or optimize the campaign or adjust budgets based off of 1 day of performance. Cost caps, the way cost caps works is they will try to hit your cost per result goal target as an average across your attribution window. So what do I mean by that? Facebook, this is not a bid cap, okay? This is saying, I want you to hit a $34 cost per result on average across 7 days. So if we look at the bidding strategy guide, they even tell you if you typically observe conversions over a much longer window than 7 days post-click, you may observe stronger fluctuation in spend and CPA, but performance should stabilize over time. So because Facebook is trying to get you a $34 cost per result goal as an average, is trying to do that across the attribution window, which means reacting to one bad day of performance or even one good day of performance is going to be detrimental to the success of the campaign because Facebook is trying to get you this target as an average across 7 days. So it makes sense that you should be optimizing the budget every 7 days or optimizing the campaign every 7 days. Now, does that mean you should never raise the budget after a really good day? Absolutely not. This is mainly for people who run cost cap campaigns and then freak out when it overspends or doesn't hit target. And I'll show you a perfect example on this cost cap campaign. Let's filter this down. All right. So why you should never react to a bad day of performance? Because yesterday we had a terrible day on performance, right? $67 cost per purchase, 1.38 return on ad spend. This is very much like, I think, minus 5% profit per transaction, not profitable. And then we look at today, performance, $28 CPA is like 40% margin for us. So you just need to be mindful of that, guys. When running cost cap campaigns. If you're going to do that, be disciplined, check the campaign and evaluate performance over 7 days. Do not respond negatively to a bad day and don't over respond and get over happy to a good day because I can promise you chances are you're going to average out over time to a very happy medium. So that's it, guys. That is the setup that I'm using for cost caps. As a quick recap, one giant campaign per product, offer, or landing page. Inside of there, you want to be focused on launching new ad sets, aim for at least one every 48 hours. And within that ad set, you want to focus on new angles, new concepts, new desires. Group similar desires, angles, and concepts into their own ad set, and then aim for anywhere from 20 to 25 variations per ad set. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. As you can see, some of these variations, I'm simply just changing the image, or I'm changing the copy, changing the headline. Regardless, the more creative variation you can give Facebook, the better. And overall, launch new ad sets as you have them. And if you hit the ad limit, just create a new page. And then every week, review your ad sets, see which ones aren't getting spent, pause those to make room for more tests. And this is exactly how I would run cost caps, especially if I was a beginner with $1,000 to my name and I just need to make dropshipping work. Set your cost cap target. Last thing I'll say, set it to your ideal profit target CPA, which for me as a general benchmark is I want to be hitting 30% profit per transaction or per AOV on my store. And then from there, if you're having trouble getting spend, that either means you need to increase the cap or you need to give Facebook better quality creative to be able to hit your current cap. That is going to do it for this video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the content as always. And if you did, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see more videos along or about media buying, or if you want to see other topics in general, leave a comment of what you'd want me to make a video about next. But hopefully this is helpful to anyone struggling to see consistent performance or maybe struggling to be profitable on highest volume. Give cost caps a try. Let me know how it goes. Hope you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.